Hey, no worries, Napster. I appreciate you being here, man. And again, thanks for all the support. You get some sleep and good luck at work tomorrow, man. Cheers as well. Have a good one. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, episode number 12 of our Elite Dangerous New Adventure playthrough series. I'm Commander Joe, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, admin notes. As you can see, there's a different layout for the introduction today. I have new branding for the channel. Well, I should say I have branding for the channel. Not new, because I never had any before. I have branding for the channel now, which includes a new logo, a new banner on the channel, as well as a new intro screen here, and that sort of stuff. As such, I've had to make some changes in streamer things, stream elements, overlays, OBS setup, and that sort of stuff for the software that puts the stream together. I hope I got everything figured out. All right. The first couple of things have worked so far. We have the display screen up here. Chat has been working. The timer worked and was able to be shut off after it finished. So far things look like they're working okay, but that does not mean that everything's going to keep working. There may be some stuff that I missed. So just as a general admin note, if things look weird or overlays pop back up or things don't show up or they look weird when they do show up, let me know. Just drop a comment and I'll take a look at it and see if I've got something messed up in Stream Elements or OBS or something like that that I can get fixed, and we'll move on. It'll be a little learning curve as we go here, but hopefully not too many disruptions. So I think that's it on admin notes. So on our recap, last week we started working on unlocking the bubble, or the engineers here in the bubble. We unlocked 3 of them, I believe, in addition to the 4, I think, that we had to unlock prior to leaving the bubble for Colonia, so that we could unlock 3 out of the 4 engineers in Colonia. But when we came back to the bubble, we unlocked 3 more, and I said I was going to unlock some off stream because we had already seen the gameplay loops. Most of them were, you know, gather some materials to turn it in, or having gotten some materials or something like that we needed to pick up. And we'd already done a bunch of those things, so there was no need for me to watch them again. So we're going to talk about a couple of those that I did that required a little bit different things, and then we'll get into unlocking some more bubbles to Napster. Oh, and well, there's the second thing that's now working in my overlays. It looks like okay. So, looks like we have more gifted memberships by NapsterJoe. Dude, you don't have to keep doing this, man. Again, thank you very, very much, as always, for the support. And go to sleep, man. Go get ready for tomorrow. And yeah, you did get yourself one, I see. Congratulations on the new banner, or the new icon next to your name, NapsterJoe. I appreciate it. But again, thank you for the support. It's very, very much appreciated. So, so in addition to unlocking those engineers, I've laid some groundwork for some of the engineers that we're going to be unlocking today. And I want to go ahead and talk about some of that. And yeah, have a good evening, NapsterJoe. Again, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. So let's go ahead and jump in here. And I'm going to be an open play today. I don't think I'm going to run into anybody, but we'll see. And I am happy to see that the alerts thing from overlay from Stream Elements did pop up, so I'm glad that portion works as well. And welcome everybody who received a membership here. Welcome to the channel. You'll now see your name listed on the countdown timer screen before we start, as well as in the descriptions of the video. And again, thanks for the support. Thanks for being here. So here we are back at our home station. And I'm not going to check my mail real quick. That's going to give away a little bit. But I am going to bring up my other screen. So here we are in our engineer unlocks section. And you can see we unlocked Zachariah Nemo and Marco Quint last week. I leveled up Lai Chung and unlocked Ram Ta. Juri Ishmaak, we're going to level up today. And then I unlocked Didi Vaderman and Bill Turner. And those are the ones that I unlocked. And you can see because these have reached the rank of merchant or higher in trading. We already were above that. And we just need to deliver 50 tons of Lavian brandy. So I didn't need you guys to see me do that. You've seen me cargo haul stuff before, so it wasn't important. So all the ones where I had something that was easy to do, I unlocked that engineer off stream. Now I want to talk quickly about Bill Turner here, because Bill Turner is a bit of an outlier. He's kind of like what we ran into with Marco Quint and having to unlock the Sirius station. But we did that a long time ago, so I kind of want to quickly go through it here, because Bill Turner, you have to unlock the Alioth system permit here. And to do that, you have to become allied with the Alioth Independents. Okay, now they're a minor faction. You can go onto Inara and you can look for minor factions, and you can look for any particular faction that you want in here, or you can just go to the main homepage and type Alioth Independence, and it's going to get you the minor faction. And then you can go to Star Systems and you can find out all the star systems where they have a presence. Okay. Now, what you do is just like we did with the Sirius permit. With Sirius, all we did was turn in a bunch of exploration data, and it got us allied with the Sirius Corporation really, really quickly. Here, you're just going to have to go to stations that have them with a presence in it, take missions for them, complete them, rank up to allied level, and once you do that, a special mission will pop up where they will give you the permit. Now, to get the permit, you need to get the permit mission, you have to be within a certain distance of the Sirius star. You can't get it everywhere. Some of these star systems are quite a ways away from the Sirius system, but some of them are really close. Like Alcor and things like that are really close to the Sirius system. Once you've become allied, if you go to a mission board and you don't see the permit acquisition opportunity like we've seen before, move to a station that's closer, or a system that's closer, and go to a station there and look and see if you have it. Once you get it, then Alioth will be unlocked, and then if you've reached friendly reputation with the Alliance. Now, the Alliance are the independent systems. So if you're looking for missions inside the mission board, you can look at the icon and see if it's federal, if it's imperial, or if it's alliance. And if you're leveling up with the Alioth independents, you're going to be leveling up with the alliance at the same time. And you'll be able to check your level with them at any time by going into your status bar and going to the superpowers tab, and you'll see your alliance there on the bottom right. Okay, so I am friendly with the alliance, and that means that I was able to unlock the access to him, and then all I had to do was provide 50 tons of bromelite. Now, bromelite you don't have to mine here. This does not have to have the mining tag on it. I didn't feel like going to mine it, so I went and paid money for it. The only place you can buy it in the game are from fleet carriers owned by other players, and they charge an arm and leg for it, well above market price, like a million credits per ton in some cases. I got mine for just under 500k per ton, I think, or something like that, and you needed 50 tons. So it cost me about 25 million credits to buy it. I just didn't really care. I wasn't going to spend my time going to mine bromelite just to turn it in. So I just bought it and turned it in, and that unlocked Bill Turner. Everybody else, well, like I say, is fairly straightforward. There was no new gameplay loops or anything like that that were part of what you were going to see. So that takes us up here to what we were looking at after Marco Quint. There are 3 engineers, Professor Palin, and I can move up here. Professor Palin, Laurie Jameson, and Chloe Sedesi. Now you can see from the check marks that I already have level 3 with Marco Quint. I've leveled him up to level 5, even though I don't need anything of his. And I now have access to Professor Palin. The initial contract is for 25 units of sensor fragments. That happens to be the exact same initial contract as what we need for Chloe Sedesi. And I already have access to Chloe as well. So we can unlock Professor Palin and Chloe Sedesi at the exact same time. Both of them require you've visited a system at least 5,000 light years from your original start system. Again, we've been all the way out to Colonia, 22,000 light years away, so that was going to be completed easily. But now we need sensor fragments. And what are sensor fragments? So let's go here to the game, and I'm going to go to my map and I'll pull up a bookmark for a planetary site. Okay, and it's down here at the bottom. There's the system, HIP 17403, Planet A4A, and I have this labeled as Thargoid sensors. This is not sensor fragments, this is Thargoid sensors. Okay, so if I hold and plot a route to this, so here I'm 375 light years away. That only equals 5 jumps for us. So let's go ahead and jump out there to this system. Now you can look for fleet carriers and see if any of them are selling Thargoid sensors. Thargoid sensors are caustic, so if you are going to buy the sensor itself, then you want to make sure that you have corrosion-resistant cargo racks, because they will begin to corrode your ship once you put them in your cargo bay. So you cannot buy sensor fragments. Sensor fragments are an engineering material, so they go into your engineering inventory, and they're not physical items that you can transfer to something else. Now you get sensor fragments, coincidentally, by destroying Thargoid sensors. So you can either go find Thargoid sensors out in the galaxy somewhere, or you can buy them, put them in your hold, take them down to a planet or something like that, and shoot them yourself there on the planet and pick the fragments up if you want. It's a rather inefficient way of doing it, but if you have some sitting in a fleet carrier somewhere of your own and you're looking to get some, then that is certainly a way to do it. So there are no Thargoid sensors located around the Titan wreckage sites, where we find the Titan drive component and propulsion units and that sort of stuff. They're not located there. So don't go looking there. You have to find them a couple of different ways. There are non-human signal sources that you can find out where we're going here, which is in the Pleiades sector, that have, depending on the threat level, will spawn a single Thargoid sensor. You can destroy ships, and they will sometimes drop sensor fragments, or you can find them at certain types of surface sites, at Thargoid surface sites. There's one other site that you can find them at, and that's where we're going now. If you find them in space in a non-human signal source, you find them in a Thargoid site, there's only one of them, and once you destroy it, you have to reset the instance by either logging out and logging back in, or quitting your game and restarting your game if it's a signal source in space. And this is a much, much easier way to go about doing it. It's also relatively close to the bubble, especially if you've outfitted your Mandalay, which should be somewhere around 80 light years of jump range right now, if you've outfitted it like mine. That makes it an easy set of jumps to get out here. Okay, one more jump. And I do want to check just because I'm curious what my jump range is. Okay, so I'm at 81.55 as my current jump range. And I'm fully engineered now, I think, on this ship. We'll probably I'll probably post a build link coming up pretty soon. When I do my next ship build, I'll probably post a link to this build as well if you want to copy it. Okay, so we're looking for planet A4A, which is 1,200, almost 1,300 light seconds out. Hey, Dreadlock, welcome. The plan today is I unlocked a few real easy engineers off stream, ones that we had already seen the gameplay loops for. That was nothing new, so you weren't missing anything. I just went ahead and crossed them off the list. We have two engineers that we're going to focus on right now, and that's Professor Palin and Chloe Sedesi, because they have a new gameplay loop that's needed to unlock them because of sensor fragments, and we're going to show you how to gather those sensor fragments right here. And then we're going to go look at a couple of the combat engineers that I have started to unlock and how I did that. So that's kind of the plan. So once you get to A4A here, you're looking for the crashed Thargoid ship. And you want to lock that designation, or lock that signal source in. And you're going to land at it. So we're going to circumnavigate the planet. And I hope your T10's coming along all right. Back in the day, there used to be a way to use the Type 10 to AFK, kill pirates. Well, it was an interesting build that we put together way back in the day when that was still a thing. Oh, and thank you for the subscription. I certainly appreciate that, Theo. Thank you very, very much. Again, I'll never ask for a like or a subscription, but everyone I get, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Alright, so let's make our approach here to the crash site, and we're going to kind of orbit it while we're still on our ship, and we'll kind of take a look at what's here. Now it is a 0.34 G world, so kind of make your approach a little slow. So here around the outside, the crashed Thargoid ship, and it says ship scan detected. We're not, but there's no ships on our sensor bubble down there in the middle. We'll explain that here in a minute. So the crashed Thargoid interceptors here in the middle, obviously. We've got a Type 9 that's crashed, another crashed Type 9 over here. And then we have two Anacondas that are crashed. These are the biggest civilian available ships that you can purchase in the game. And then we have the husk of another Type 9 here. So 3 Type 9s and 2 Anacondas crashed here, and we have a crashed interceptor. Now this is a Cyclops. I can tell that by how the petals, we call them flowers because they look like flower buds, and we call these little arms petals. So by looking at it, I can tell this is the lowest class of interceptor, but it still managed to wreak some havoc here. Now you can see that if I go in an SRV, there's only one way in, and it's kind of through this path here. So I'm going to just head over here on this side. I'm going to drop my landing gear, and I'm going to land my ship somewhere out here, wherever I can. The terrain is a little bumpy, so it can be a little weird trying to land. And I'm going to exit into my SRV. And yeah, I mean, it's a really, really good turreted attack craft. It's not great with gimbaled weapons, and it's not great, obviously, with fixed weapons. But as a turreted weapon platform, it's quite good. It's quite good. So I'm going to change into combat mode here, and you can look around here and see how big the scale is of these things. As I drive around this site, and as I drive around, you can see that there are contacts that are showing up. Like, there's a white box. If I click it, there's a sensor fragment. Okay, so there are some sensor fragments. If you look over at the bottom left, it says sensor fragment. My inventory has 60 out of 100. I've already got some of these. I came here and only farmed once. I already had like 52, I think, in my inventory when I came here. So I just wanted to see if this loop still worked. So for some reason, for getting them through mission rewards or whatever, I already had a bunch of them. But you can see that for every one of these I pick up, I'm going to get 3 of the materials, just like for any other engineering material. So as you drive around, you're going to see some fragments laying on the ground. Now you have to get pretty close to see them. But there's a way to kind of know where they are. And that's kind of why, another reason I chose to land where I did, is because you can plot a route around the outside of, from straight away from the entrance where I parked my ship, and just head around the outside of it, and you'll find a few sensor fragments. Now, there are other things out here, like these crashed human ships are going to have various canisters that you can find out here as well, but there's another sensor fragment. Every ship is going to have 2 human cargo canisters that you can just ignore. But there they are underneath there. So you can ignore them. They're not worth anything to pick up. And you hear some strange sounds in the background. We'll explain a little bit more about that here in a second too. So I'm just going to keep working my way around here. And I'm going to kind of just keep my eye out for any white boxes that show up in my sensor bubble. There's one. Okay, so there's the next set of sensor fragments. And there's another one on the other side of the rock. Okay, so that's 5 so far, I think. I'm going to continue around the other side of it. There's that noise again. There's the 6th one. And then you see there's a white dot to my left. So now I'm going to kind of make my way into that gap. And you see there's kind of a field there. And right before you go in, there's the 7th sensor fragments here on your left. Okay, so now I can make my way in here. And there's a couple of white dots here. So there's a sensor fragment in front of me. Okay. There is, that's number 8. Here's number 9. Okay, now this white dot is for a Thargoid sensor, and this one's active. It is currently broadcasting and sensing, and we'll kind of talk more about this here in a minute. But back here, this white dot is another Thargoid sensor, and there's a third one back there. I can't remember if there's another Thargoid sensor fragment. I don't think there is. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's pause for a minute and talk about Thargoid sensors. I remember when these were introduced into the game. And this is a really cool set of lore. These sounds, what they are reconnaissance probes put out by the Thargoids. When a ship gets within range of them, it will scan that ship. It will then orient itself towards the star system Merope, which used to be a major Thargoid base here in the Pleiades sector. And it will transmit information about that ship back to its Thargoid base, which is now dead. What's really cool is that sound that it emits that you hear occasionally, you can run that through that sound right there. People recorded that sound. They ran it through a spectrum analyzer, and what came out the other end was Morse code. Human Morse code. The developers put an Easter egg in here that they actually, you can decode that signal into what it is sending back to Merope. And it also has an image embedded in it, and it's a very crude line drawing of whatever ship you're in. And it's based off the original Elite Dangerous back in the old Windows, just after DOS days, when the only graphics they had for ships were stuff that looked like something out of, an old Tron video game or something, stick drawings of ships and that sort of stuff. They brought them back and they put them in this game, and they put them into the Thargoid sensor broadcasts. So it was actually a fascinating Easter egg. You can go look these up, and you can go through and see all the forum posts where people were discovering all these Easter eggs. Back in the day, it was actually a really cool thing for the community to deal with. So Thargoid sensors, like I say, you can pick these up. They're canisters, so you can put them in your cargo. But as soon as you do not have corrosion-resistant cargo racks on your SRV, so they're going to start hurting your SRV hull. I have them on my Mandalay, so as soon as I transfer them to my Mandalay, it'll stop. But you can do that. You can pick them up, and you can go sell them. However, I'm not going to do that. Now, once I get close to the hull being zero, I'm going to stop shooting, because once it does, it's going to let out either 1 or 2 sensor fragments. And you can go pick those up, just like the others that you'd previously seen. Now, the other thing about why you really don't want to carry Thargoid sensors around is if you get interdicted by a Thargoid, which we haven't seen yet. If we get interdicted by a Thargoid and you have one in your hull, they're going to instantly get angry with you. And they won't just scan you and leave. They will actively engage you. And you really don't want to have to deal with that either. Okay, so I've got one more Thargoid sensor up here.
Target destroyed.
Okay, so I got 2 out of all of these. Sometimes they will fall through the ground here. So that's why I say you're going to get one or possibly two, because a lot of times they will fall through the ground and you won't be able to pick them up. But it's going to spawn two every time you shoot it. It's just whether or not you're able to pick up more than that. So you saw the message. My Thargoid sensors are now full. So if I go over to my engineering materials here, and I go down to sensor fragments, they're a grade 5 manufactured material, and I'm now full. 100 out of 100. Okay. Now, if you're not full, if you just got here, what you can do is you don't even have to move. Once you shoot that last one, you can log out to the main menu. Exit to the main menu there, and when you come back in, this will have reset. This is not a hostile location, so you don't have to move far away from it to reset it. You can reset it while you're inside it. So it makes it really easy to get filled up on sensor fragments. I'm going to use 50 of them to unlock the engineers. And when I come back here with the 9 that you can pick up off the ground, that's 27 out of 100. And then if you get 6 more to spawn, that's another 18. So you'd be almost halfway. That's 43 fragments that you would, or 45 fragments out of 100 that you're going to get every time you refresh this. So it's really easy to get filled up on these. Okay, so I'm going to bring my screen up here. And we're going to go visit Professor Palin first. And that's Able Laboratory in RK, so we're going to copy that. And I don't know if I have a bookmark for Professor Palin yet or not. I do. So if you didn't have it already, just copy it, paste it, and head there. So we're going to head to Professor Palin. She's quite a bit galactic north, so it's going to take us 7 jumps to get up there. Actually, before I do that, let's see where Chloe is. Okay. So yeah, let's go out here. Chloe, I forgot about Shenvei. Shenvei is out in the Witchhead Nebula, which is again a hub of Thargoid activity. Let's head out there first because she's quite a ways from the bubble out here. We'll get her unlocked, and then we'll head back into the bubble to unlock Professor Palin. So let's make our way over there. The unlocks are the exact same. Now, Professor Palin and Chloe Sedesi unlock or engineer the same 2 things. They engineer thrusters to grade 5 and FSDs to grade 3. So you don't need to unlock both of them if you're just looking for the engineering, but what it lets you do, since they both do grade 5 thrusters, is it allows you to put both of the most commonly used engineering blueprints as pinned blueprints. So you can pick either one of the two and not have to go out to an engineer at all to get them engineered. So they're both useful to unlock, even though they both do the same thing, simply because thrusters has two very different but very important modifications that you want to have pinned. And I'm going to have to watch my fuel. I didn't have enough fuel to get there. Yeah, I'm getting closer. The more I fuel scoop, the closer I'll get to it. And I'll be able to refuel when I get there, obviously, at her station. Now, back in the day when I started, the Witchhead Nebula out here was the main hub for Thargoid combat. It's where the Thargoids were. This is where you could find all the non-human signal sources and that sort of stuff for what at the time was endgame, what kind of still is to an extent, endgame combat, ship combat. Before they made their incursions into human space, which was a year plus ago now, this is where you had to come if you really wanted to deal with or get involved in Thargoid combat. So it was out here a ways away from the bubble, and that's why they put an engineer out here, so that you could pick up some modules from her and get some engineering done out here if you were part of the AX, the Anti-Xeno Consortium out here. Now that the invasions have all been repelled, again, if you're looking for Thargoid combat, coming out here to the Witchhead and the Pleiades sector in general is what you want to do. But for a while there, like I say, we were fighting in Sol sector against the Thargoids. The invasion was a pretty cool scenario in the game, kind of like world event. It probably lasted a little bit too long, but so, you know, 2/3 of the way through it, people were getting a little bit turned off by how the mechanics of it worked, because when it started, it was brutal. Fighting over systems with the Thargoids was a brutal thing. They made some adjustments to it, but the finale was cool. It just probably took a little bit too long to get there, in my opinion. But you know, if you've thought about, you know, like Destiny and Destiny 2 and that sort of stuff, the seasons and the raids at the end of it and that sort of stuff, that's kind of what it felt like inside the game. And we're kind of all waiting to see what the next what the next thing is. Okay, so one more jump. And when I get in here, I want to look at the nav beacon first. It's over here. Let's just drop into it first. There's a reason I want to see what the signal sources are here. So we'll scan this real quick. Yeah. So out here, you're going to see non-human signal sources. The threat levels determine what you're likely to find inside of that signal source. The higher the threat level, obviously the more dangerous of Thargoid or Thargoids you're going to find in it. And they range from 1 to 6, I think. Or maybe 1 to 8. Yeah. Yeah, there's 8. So I think it's 1 to 8. And if you go look up non-human signal sources on the wiki, you'll see a list of all of the possible things that are inside each of those non-human signal sources. Trust me when I say you go into a threat 8, you're going to find a Medusa, the highest ranked or the highest difficulty Thargoid interceptor there are. 6, 7, and 8 are guaranteed to have Thargoid interceptors. You can get them in 5 as well, but 5 also has the possibility of giving scouts. Things below that are different levels of scouts and that sort of stuff. Thargoid scouts are like fighters. They're small, easy to kill, but highly maneuverable enemy ships. The interceptors are big. They are bigger than any of our ships. And they have various different attacks. They can shut your ship down. They have a swarm, kind of like a drone swarm that they can release that has special attacks against you as well. And all of their attacks also have a chance of inflicting caustic damage. So you could become poisoned, so to speak. And while you're fighting, your hull is just slowly ticking down because it's got acid damage. So it's an interesting gameplay mechanic to fight against them. Okay, so let's go over here and let's land at Cinder Dock. And this is going to be Chloe Sedesi again. Now, you won't ever get interdicted in Super Cruise by a Thargoid that I'm aware of. I don't think that's ever happened to me. But you can get pulled out of hyperspace while you're traveling between stars. and have a very close encounter with a Thargoid interceptor. Like I say, most of the time it's benign, unless you have something in your cargo that they don't like. Then they will dispense with all the pleasantries and just get down to trying to kill you. And we will be dealing with Thargoids, just not for quite a long time. Like I say, it's end game content. Operations are like raids now in other games. But Thargoids are like bosses. They're boss monsters in this game. So they're not something to be taken lightly. But we're going to be using them to level up our combat rank quite a bit later. We're going to have a couple of special builds, a couple of ships that are dedicated to AX combat, that are specifically designed for scout combat as well as interceptor combat. Alright, so we'll make our approach and land here at Cinder Dock. Since it is the dark side, I'm gonna turn on my night vision. And we're 0.28 G world. Okay, there's our dock over there. We'll sweep wide around this tower here. And start slowly making our way down.
Warning, terrain alerts. Climb immediately.
Landing gear deployed.
Docking successful. Crime crew dispatched.
Okay, now I want to check and see what outfitting Chloe has here. To get her to grade 5, I'm going to have to engineer thrusters. I've already engineered the thrusters that I currently have on my Mandalay with dirty drive and drag drive experimental effect. If I have to overwrite that engineering and do it again, I will. But I want to see if she is selling anything else. She's not, so I can't get more 5As here. So what I would do is I would buy another 5A, engineer it, and then I would just transfer the other one back to my home base, because I'm going to need more 5A thrusters that are engineered in the future. But she doesn't have any of them, so I'm just going to re-engineer the thrusters that I have. So here she says she needs sensor fragments, so we're going to donate 25 of them. And now you can see that she does engines and FSD. Only engines go to grade 5, so let's go through and we'll start redoing these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin the two important ones here are dirty drive tuning. So grade 5 dirty drive tuning gives 140% optimal multiplier here. See it right here. That's the most improvement you can get to your thrusters, is through dirty drive tuning. Now that lowers integrity, it lowers your optimal mass, so if you've got a big ship you may have to take a higher thruster to be able to get to the mass of your ship. It takes more power, which normally isn't a problem, but it does increase thermal load by quite a bit. And depending on certain builds, that can be a problem, is that thermal load. So there is another way to get a high or a higher increase in your thruster performance, and that's with clean drive tuning. Now, clean drive tuning gives you a 28% increase, or actually, yeah, a 28% increase in optimal multiplier. So it's not as much as the 40 that you're getting here, but what it does is it lowers your thermal load. You again lower your optimal mass, which can affect which sizes are available for each ship, but it significantly lowers your thermal load. You go from 2.08 heat units per second to 0.52. So if you're looking for a stealthy, cool build, then clean drive tuning is the way to go. And Thargoid combat relies on cool builds because they see in infrared. So if you keep a cool ship, they can't see you, and they either won't attack you at all, or a lot of their shots will just completely miss because of it. So clean drive is a great thing for your AX combat ships, but also anything where you're really looking to manage heat. If you have a specific build that is, or ship that is built just to rescue people from burning stations, there's a whole gameplay loop around that. And as soon as you walk or fly into the burning station, you start overheating. Having clean drive on your thrusters can help avoid or help mitigate some of that as well. So two very important blueprints here, and I'm going to pin one of them here, and I'm going to pin the other one over at Professor Palin. But for now, let's go ahead and unlock her using clean drive tuning. Let's look and see what materials this is going to need. So looks like I'll have enough to do this. So it's going to remove dirty drive and drag drive, the experimental effect. Should have to do 4 rounds of each one, and then 5 rounds of the final one. But I probably won't engineer this all the way to grade 5. I'm just going to engineer it as far as it needs to get her access in the upper left-hand corner maxed out. Because when I get to Professor Palin, I'm going to redo it back to drag drives, and that will level him up to grade 5. Okay, so in the upper left-hand corner, maximum grade reached. So I'm not going to go any further with this. So now Chloe's maxed out at grade 5, and I have pinned clean drives here with her. So now let's go to Professor Palin. And we'll unlock him. This is going to take a bit to get to, because it's 12 jumps back to the bubble, but again, it could be a lot worse if we hadn't engineered our Mandalay already up to this point. So that's why I recommend not doing this grind until you can get a high jump range ship and engineer it. It makes it so much easier to do. That's the Witch Head Nebula in front of us. Looks really cool.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
I'll use SCO to get away from the planet.
Frameshift drive
shouldn't be obscured anymore, and we can jump out. So here in the Witch Head, you're gonna find some systems that are, we'll look at that here in a second. And we're gonna scoop as much as we can as we're going around these to extend our range. So we want to stay at 343 for as long as we can. So here in the Witch Head, you're going to see some systems that have these X's on them. If you look at it, you can see that the port has been abandoned. The Witch Head took the brunt of the Thargoid invasion of the bubble. The Titans came through here, headed toward the bubble systems, and it took the brunt of it. So there are some systems here, and it's cool to go out here and kind of look at them and that sort of stuff. But they still have populations. There are just the main ports that were in them were abandoned due to the attacks that happened in the Witch Head during the Thargoid invasion. So these, I think I've talked about these before, the Titan wreckages. That's what these symbols are. There were 8 of them, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the one at Sol, yeah, is 8. There were 8 of them that came in, and humanity had to rally and protect the core bubble systems during that invasion. Like I say, it was pretty cool, just probably took a little long to get there. And everybody that's new joining to the stream, welcome. Thank you for being here as always. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about anything that's going on or what we're doing today or things like that, feel free to let me know in the chat, and I'll respond. But thanks for being here. I appreciate the support. Like I say, we'll just make our way back to the bubble systems here as quick as we can.
Frameshift drive charging.
So once we unlock Professor Palin, there's only one more engineer that we unlocked underneath Marco Quint last week, and that's Laurie Jameson. Now, Laurie Jameson, even if you had a high enough combat rank, you need to have the dangerous rank or higher to access her. But even if you did have dangerous rank, you would need to have elite in something else. One of the other, or one of the 6 skill sets you would need to have elite in. And that's because she's located in the Shinrarta Desra system, and you only get that unlocked when you become elite in any one category. When we came back from the Road to Riches and turned our exploration data in, we got elite status and we unlocked Shinrarta Desra, but if you haven't done that, you won't be able to access Laurie Jameson even if you gain dangerous combat rank, because you don't have access to the Shinrarta Desra system, so you'll need to unlock that too. And don't do it with combat. The combat to elite grind is the longest in the game. It's extraordinarily hard, and a lot of people frankly don't ever get there. But it's so do it with trade or exploration. Those are by far the 2 easiest. And like I say, for us, when we got the bonus to exploration data by being pledged to Juri. That easily put us into elite status in exploration when we came back to the Road to Riches. Good, blue-white star. These are big, hot, young stars, and it takes a while to fly around them, which means I'm going to be scooping for longer, and when I can get more fuel. Almost filled me completely up on fuel. The blue-white stars are the best for fueling while you're staying on the move. If you're going to stop, well, if you're going to slow your throttle to 0, which doesn't stop you, but if you are going to put your throttle to 0 and kind of AFK refuel, then the red dwarfs are the best because they don't overheat your ship. Okay, 6 jumps left, so not too far out.
Frameshift drive charging.
So once we get back here, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to unlock Professor Palin with the 25 units of sensor fragments. We're going to level them up to grade 5. We're going to pin the dirty drive engineering blueprint. And then we're going to talk about the first set of combat related engineers. And we'll talk about what I did off stream to prepare a little bit. There's still, it's going to take me a while yet. So even Saturday, we won't have unlocked what we need to. I don't think. Well, no, I know we won't unlock it on Saturday. So I have something else planned for Saturday. I think Saturday we're going to do a mining tutorial where we talk about all of the different types of mining in the game. And we're going to buy a new ship. We're going to buy the Type 11 Prospector and outfit it in the game and then go do a little mining. Well, I'm probably going to buy it and outfit it off stream so that we can focus on the mining. Buying a ship and jumping around and engineering stuff is not very exciting gameplay. I'll put the build up on screen and then we'll kind of focus on the mining because there's a bunch of stuff to do with mining. Okay, our yellow-white star. So again, relatively hot, young star, and again, it takes you a while to navigate around it, so good place to fuel scoop if you're staying moving.
Frameshift drive charging.
I think only two more jumps, and we should be there.
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, and by the way, just an update on community goals. There's no community goal this week. The server reset was this morning. There's no community goals this week, and nothing has been put out calling for another trip out to Colonia yet. Like I say, a bunch of us are expecting that we're going to get a call to head back out there. But we're waiting for the Rhino to do its thing, and maybe there will be a mining community goal or something out there to help support the new mega markets that they're going to build, and maybe that will be out in Colonia as well, or maybe we'll mine some materials here in the bubble or wherever we want, and then head to Colonia like we did last time and distribute those to various stations again. Kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen. Most of us are expecting we're going to have to make another trip out to Colonia again. So I'm going to try and level up combat so I can unlock the last engineer out there. I just don't think I'm going to have enough time to do it. I honestly forgot how long the Federation rank grind was and how much they nerfed it with the mission board updates a few years ago. Oh, there's a player. And they have hard points out. That's that open triangle icon. If it's an open icon, it's a player. If it's an open square, it's a player that that doesn't have their hard points out. If it's a open square with a triangle on the top of it, it's a player that has their hard points deployed. And that kind of gives you a little hint of maybe what they're up to and that sort of stuff. Anytime you jump to a system that's got an engineer in it, there's a very good chance you're going to encounter another player. And looks like they already jumped out. Low energy, so I say not entirely sure where they dropped out, but yeah, I'm not too worried about these systems though. I'm not going to Desiat or something like that where I'm guaranteed to be griefed, but not too worried about Professor Palin here in open. Okay, we'll make our approach. Might be a little steep. Nope, we're good. That's a steep approach angle. We're a low G world though.
Docking permission authorized. You may proceed to landing pad
Dock.
1-1.
let's get some engineering done here.
Docking procedure completed. Ship secured.
So again,
Greetings, Commander.
let's unlock for 25 sensor fragments. And again, engines and FSD. That's Professor Palin and Chloe Sedesi do the exact same things with the exact same grades. So we're going to redo this back to dirty drive and put drag drive on it. So we're going to pin this blueprint. And now let's get the engineering done. I didn't look beforehand to make sure that was going to work, but yeah, it looks like I'll have the materials. Let's put in drag drives on now. Drag drives adds more thermal load, but it also gives you another 4.4% on your optimal multiplier. Well, it's going to give me a 4.4 now. That's going to go up as I go. You can see down there at the bottom the experimental effect. The optimal multiplier is going up as I continue to increase the optimal multiplier percentage through these upgrades. And again, I've mentioned this before, when you're leveling up an engineer, you don't have to engineer 5 times. You're looking at this little bar underneath the level. When it maxes out, that's going to unlock the next row, but you won't be fully engineered yet. So here you can see we've unlocked grade 5. But we're not fully engineered at grade 4 yet. You don't have to spend that group of materials to get it to grade 4. You can skip it. We would be going to 133%. We're at 132 right now. But you can skip it and go right to start working on 140 at level 5. And this will take all the way up, so it'll be 5 rounds. Okay, so now we're fully engineered grade 5 dirty drive, drag drive, and that gets us an additional 5.6% for 146% increase in our thruster value. And that just means that we're able to turn the ship a lot faster in all 6 of our axes of flight. Okay, so let's look at our other screen here, and you can see now Professor Palin and Chloe Sedesi are fully ranked up. If you go up here, we have check marks next to both of them. They'll turn green here in a little bit, but for now we are fully unlocked on the both. Laurie Jameson, like I said, you need combat rank dangerous, and we're combat rank novice. You can see it in the upper left there. So we're nowhere near being dangerous at this point to be able to unlock Laurie Jameson, and that's the same type of thing that we need for Petra Omanova in Colonia. So you can see here, we need to be combat rank expert or higher to unlock her. So those two we're not going to be able to unlock for a while, but who else can we unlock? Well, there are 2 more groups of engineers. The first is here under Felicity Farseer and Juri Ishmaak. Juri, we unlocked. We had earned more than 50 combat bonds. We had done that just by doing our combat for our power. So we had already unlocked those, and you needed 1 million credits worth of combat bonds That's, again, really easy to do, even if you don't have a combat ship, which I don't. You just go into a hazardous resource extraction site in the ring of a planet or a nav beacon in a system that is not anarchy, that has a security force, and you just wait for somebody to act a fool. The security ships will start attacking them. You can jump in and cause some damage right before they, not right before they die, but cause continuous damage while they're low and getting ready to die. You don't have to get the kill. As long as they die and you've caused continuous damage, you're going to get a combat bond for him and a reward. So he's easy to unlock. We've seen that before. We did some of that a couple of weeks ago when we were looking at that. But we didn't level up Juri. He's right here. So he's still level 1. We need to go level him up. And then that's going to unlock 2 more. Reach level 3 with Juri Ishmaak to unlock Colonel Briss Decker. Reach friendly reputation with the Federation. And 1 million credits worth of combat bonds is what he's going to need. And then it's going to unlock the Sarge as well. Gain rank midshipman or higher with the Federal Navy. And you need 50 units of aberrant shield pattern analysis. Now, this is a grade 4 encoded material. We've talked about encoded farming and how to get it. We already had it previously, so that's unlocked. But how do we get midshipman rank with the Federal Navy? And how do we get friendly reputation with the Federation? Okay, so let's look at our side panel. We're going to go to status. And the second one down is our reputation. Now, again, we've talked about minor factions. Those are these system factions. These can be player factions or clans, or they can be just computer-generated NPC factions. We've talked about powers. That is like Li Yongri, or in this case, the local power here is Ed Man, the group of individuals who are vying for power in the galaxy. And each one of those powers is part of a superpower. The superpowers are like back in the day, the United States, the Soviet Union, and Europe kind of thing. So you have the Federation, the Empire, and the Alliance. And the Alliance has a symbol. That's the same symbol that's beside Edmund Mayen's name up there. So he's pledged to the Alliance. So if I'm doing missions for factions that are pledged to the Alliance, I'm going to gain reputation with them. However, if I'm doing missions that are with factions that are aligned with the Federation or the Empire, I'm going to gain reputation, the same as I will with the Alliance. So when you're doing it, pick the reward that says reputation, and that number is going to go up. Now you can see I'm allied. I'm at 97% out of 100 with my reputation for the Federation. I'm 74% with the Empire. Those numbers are gradually going to go up just as you do missions. They don't stay that high. They will slowly degrade over time, but never below a certain percentage. So you may not be allied with them anymore. You may be friendly instead, but they'll never drop so that they're hostile or anything. But there is some upkeep involved. But below those two, there is a rank. Now, the Federation has a navy, and the Empire has a navy, and these are the military branches of the superpowers. Now, as you rank up inside, or with the reputation of the superpower, you're simultaneously going to be ranking up in the navy. And that percentage is going to keep going up. Now, you can see at the bottom of the Empire, it says rank none, and the bar below it says 100%. What the 100% means is that I am ready to get my next rank in the Imperial Navy. I just haven't done it yet. Now, if I keep earning reputation, it's going to keep that reputation ranking up in the background. So theoretically, I could never do the rank up missions, and I could do them all and get enough reputation for all 14 ranks in the Imperial Navy, and then do all those rank up missions back to back to back to back. There's no real reason to do that though. Normally when you get 100%, you start looking for a rank up mission. And that rank up mission, once you complete it, will get you a rank. And that's what's shown underneath the Federation. Right now you can see I'm rank Ensign. That is the 6th rank, I believe, out of 14 in the Federation. The bonuses and that you get for ranking up in the Federation or Imperial Navy stop at at the 12th rank. You don't have to do those last two. I always do, just because I'm a completionist at heart. But you don't have to. At rank 12 for the Federation, you're going to unlock the Federal Corvette, which is the end-all, be-all for PvE combat in the game. It is by far the best, and it's just something that you aspire to if you're going to be spending a lot of time in PvE combat. At the 12th rank for the Empire, you unlock the Imperial Cutter. Now, the Cutter is a beautiful ship. The Imperial ships are all beautiful, by the way. The Federation ships are more utilitarian. But the Cutter has one of the highest cargo capacities of the pre-expansion ships. And the problem with it is that it flies like a brick. It's beautiful. It's horrific at combat because it doesn't turn hardly at all, and it's very slow to accelerate and decelerate. The Corvette is much better in that regard, but the Cutter is great for having a solid, big, large pad ship that can do combat, but at the same time can also haul a bunch of stuff. So back in the day, the Cutter and the Type 9 were the ways to haul a bunch of cargo in the game. Now it's the Panther Clipper is the end-all be-all in cargo hauling. But before then, the Cutter had a good purpose to serve in that. So if I go to my mail, these are my power assignments and the leaderboard rewards. I didn't focus on it last week, so I only got 2.5 million credits. But you can see that down here, I started getting promoted in the Federal Navy. Okay. Recruit, cadet, midshipman. Now, at the rank of midshipman, I was given the Sol System permit. So now I can go to the system that has Earth in it. It's actually pretty cool to go see. Petty officer unlocks Vega and Beta Hydri permits. So you're going to unlock ranks. Those ranks are going to unlock ships and systems inside of the heart of the Federation and the Empire. Okay, so it will tell you in these rank ups that you've gotten a new rank, and it will tell you what system permits have been issued as you continue to rank up. And this is my latest one of Ensign. Okay, and I think it's the 6th one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's actually the 7th. So, and I am 67% of the way to the next one, which I think is Lieutenant. I have to, so I'm 67% of the way to the 7th rank. I have to get to the 12th rank to unlock the Corvette. And it takes, the first 3 ranks are almost instant. You get them quick. The 4th and the 5th are pretty easy. The 6th and the 7th have taken me about 3 hours apiece. 3 or 4 hours apiece. And now it's just going to get longer as I go up. So we're going to kind of look at how to increase that a little bit here. But first, we're going to go look at Juri Ishmaak. Juri is the gatekeeper for Decker and the Sarge, and we need to rank him up to at least level 3, but we're going to rank him up to level 5. So let's go find Juri. Okay, I don't have him linked, so he's in Giriak, I think. Yes, there he is. We haven't been there yet, but it's not too far away. Oh, one jump.
Ship released. Departure authorized.
Frameshift drive charging.
Automated flight control protocol.
Now again, as I'm
now
engineering
offline.
these modules,
Thank
I'm
you,
using
Commander.
engineer materials. We were completely full on raw materials. We were about 75% full on encoded materials. We were 100% full on all of the manufactured materials that we could farm, and the only ones we were missing were the two that are only available through mission rewards. So here's Pater's Memorial. We're gonna lock that. But after we're done with all of this, unlocking of engineers and that sort of stuff, I'm gonna probably want to go fill those back up and get us filled back up so that then we can make sure we're topped up when we're just engineering ships as opposed to unlocking engineers. And yeah, Drew, like I haven't talked much about the methodologies yet, or the gameplay loops for ranking them up. But the Robigo mines and Imperial slave runs are definitely the way to go on the Imperial side, and that gameplay loop still works. The Federation rank up has been severely nerfed from what it was back in the day because of the changes they made to mission boards. They didn't make the same changes to the passenger boards, so it makes the Robigo mines and the slave runs pretty easy to do on the Empire, but for the Federation, kind of sucks. But we're going to explore it here in a little bit as soon as we unlock these engineers, because I'll explain to everybody kind of what the different loops are for the Federation, what I did to get where I'm at, what I'm going to continue to do, and I'm not doing the most efficient way of unlocking the Federation just because I don't want to go buy another ship right now. I could go buy a Panther Clipper and up my reputation a lot faster than what I'm doing right now, or I could go buy an intermediate combat ship and up my Fed rank a lot faster. I'm just not gonna ship farm on this account. Got 41 ships, I think, in my main account, and all but like 7 of them sit there and they're not used. So I'm not going to do that this one. I'm not going to buy a ship to do something and then just let it sit there unused. So if it takes me longer to farm stuff up or do certain things, then it just is what it is for me on this playthrough. But yeah, Robigo Mines, especially doing it, in the Corsair, where you can get a higher passenger cabin loadout, is still the way to go for Imperial rank.
Clearance granted. Proceed to landing pad 07.
Landing gear deployed.
Alright, so let's look at what Juri has to offer. Now, Juri has a lot of
Landing operation complete. Commence system
things that he can
shutdown.
do.
Welcome, Commander.
Okay? He's got a lot of things he can do. There's not a lot that we have access to, though, right now on our ship, that we need. However, he does two important things that every ship is probably going to need, and that's surface scanners, and that's sensors, or one thing that they're all going to need, and that's sensors. Sensors, almost everybody lightweights their sensors. There's not a whole lot of need unless you've got like your dedicated combat ship to do anything other than lightweight. Sensors are heavy, and if you can lightweight them, it seriously expands your jump range. Same thing with life support. So here for sensors, I'm going to select this. I've done lightweight, and this is what I'm going to pin. But long range and wide angle, both of them, depending upon what style or what you're doing with your ship, can be very useful. Wide angle tends to be the one that is more useful. You get a 90% angle on it, so you can start scanning them when they come into your field of view. Don't have to get them near the center of your screen to be able to scan them, which can be very useful for figuring out if it's an enemy ship or a pirate or something like that a lot sooner and being able to gauge them quicker. But what I need to do is get rid of lightweight just by going into something else. Before I do that, okay, I have enough materials. I'm going to be running out of proto-radiolic and proto-light pretty quick. So I wanted to make sure. And this is just, again, to rank him up. So now I'll go back to lightweight. So I must have ranked up to rank 3, and that incoming message is probably telling me that I now have access to, or I've now learned about Colonel Drecker and the Sarge. So technically I could stop here in ranking him up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to rank him up to 5. That way I'll be able to do level 5 lightweight scanners without having to come back here. And one more. Okay, now also pinning lightweight scanners is useful because there are no experimental effects for this module type. So Experimental effects can only be applied physically at the engineer's port. You can't apply them remotely. So pinning this blueprint here means that I can level up all of my scanners on all my ships to full engineering, and I don't even need to go anywhere to apply any experimental effect because there are none. So now let's look at our mailbox. We should have two, and we do. An invitation from the Sarge, and an invitation from Colonel Briss Decker. So first of all, let's go to our bookmarks here. And I didn't bookmark it. So let's go to the system map. Let's go to the planet. And we will bookmark Pater's Memorial. And this is Juri. Okay, and now he should show up on my planetary lists, and he does. So at the end of the day, so Briss has been, yeah, because I'm friendly reputation. So Briss has already given me a bookmark to their location. I guess I can modify that. It's close enough. And with Briss, you may run out of... Nope, I can type it all in there. Now, the other reason that I wanted to unlock these two on stream is what you're going to see here in a second. So, the Sarge... the Sarge is at Beta 3-2 County, I think? Yes. So... he's going to be the close one, I think. So let's go level up the Sarge real quick. And I'm looking to see... okay. Only 2 jumps. Because remember, we looked at the Sarge's unlocks a little bit ago, and the Sarge needs 50 units of aberrant shield pattern analysis, and we already have that.
Procedure complete. Clear for departure.
Is this visible? It's not. Let's hop away from the planet, and once we get it visible, then we can jump out. And you can't jump when you have Super Cruise Overcharge active, so make sure you deactivate it before you press your hotkey to engage your FSD. Okay, one more jump here. going to be looking for the beach. Here.
Fuel scoop
We'll
disengaged.
bookmark this. We'll come back and we'll adjust it. Once we get lined up. Look at that. Almost perfect exit from Super Cruise Overcharge. Never happens to me. Hey Truck, welcome to the stream. So NMS, for those of you not familiar with it, is No Man's Sky. There are very few space sim, space flight sim, space RPG type of games. Everyone obviously knows Star Citizen. This game and No Man's Sky are quote-unquote the big three, so to speak. How does it compare to No Man's Sky? I don't have a whole lot of experience with No Man's Sky. I have played it. I played it a little bit when it was first released, while I was still playing this game. This game's quite a bit older than No Man's Sky is. But as far as the ship stuff goes, I much prefer this game over No Man's Sky. As far as the on-foot stuff goes, I much prefer No Man's Sky over what we have here in Elite Dangerous. As far as the gameplay loops and that sort of stuff, Elite Dangerous is quite a bit more grindy, I would say, where it has more opportunities for grind, because it's much more of what I think of a classic MMO RPG type thing. No Man's Sky is very social in its interactions and that sort of stuff. So I think if you're a fan of one, there are going to be parts of the other that you're going to enjoy. There are also going to be parts of the other that you are just not going to be a fan of at all. They are similar enough, but different enough that I find that the fan bases don't cross over very much, but they do. So there are players out there that really enjoy both. I would say it's kind of, if you're already playing No Man's Sky, which I'm assuming you are, if you're already playing No Man's Sky, like I say, there are things I think you're going to find intriguing about Elite Dangerous, but I think you're also probably going to be a little off-put by the grind that can be involved with it up front, especially. But again, I think certain aspects of this are better, just like I think certain aspects of No Man's Sky are better. It's not really one is overall better than the other. Yeah, I can't really answer that question that way.
Peterson, India, Romeo, uniform.
I know it's not a
Flight control,
this one's better, go do it type
welcome,
of
Commander.
thing, but I think
Request docking
that's the
for
best
ship
answer
if
that I
you
can
wish
give.
to land. Clearance
So,
granted.
my
Proceed
best
to
thing
landing
about
pad
this would be is that
04.
this game is relatively cheap, and it goes on sale on Steam quite a bit. So I would check it out. If you're getting it on Steam or something like that, go try it for the trial period and sink a few hours in it and see what you think. See what your initial impressions are. If you've got a setup to play No Man's Sky, you're probably not really going to be 100% prepared, depending upon if you have a hands-on throttle and stick for your controls or whether you're using a controller.
Welcome, Commander.
I used controller on No Man's Sky. I didn't use a HOTAS for it. But controller's a good place to start rather than spending a bunch of money on a HOTAS or something like that on a game you're not sure if you're going to play if you don't already have one. So I hope that helped. So here at the beach, and again, thank you for being here on the channel. I certainly do appreciate it. Thanks for the support. So let's do the rank up here on the Sarge. First, we need to donate those aberrant shield pattern analysis, and that's going to unlock him. Now, again, with him, there's a lot of stuff that we can do that we don't have on our ship. Cannons are one of the big things if you're combat focused. Cannons have gone through a bit of a rebirth, where back in the day they were horrifically bad. They've gone through kind of a rebirth, especially engineered, and that becomes a very useful blueprint to pin. Fuel transfer limpets, hatch breaker limpets, you're probably never going to do anything with as far as engineering. The gameplay loops you may use, but very, very few and far between. So then it really comes down to prospecting limpets and collector limpets. So let's look at what we have available, because I actually have a collector limpet controller on my ship right now. And what you can do with your collector limpet controllers is one of three things. You can shield them, which increases your power draw, but increases the integrity quite a bit. So you can see when you're done, you're going to get a 300% integrity increase, and it's going to cost you power. It's basically putting a shield around your collector limpet. Reinforcement is going to give you that same 300% increase, but it's not going to cost power to do it. It's going to increase the mass by a lot to do it. So if you have spare power, shielded grants you that extra integrity. If you've got mass to spare, then reinforced does it. The other thing you have is lightweight, and this is by far what everybody does with their limpet controllers, is just put lightweight on them. It reduces the mass by 85%, which again, just like lowering your sensors and your life support, lowering that mass gives you a massive boost to your jump range, because you're lowering the overall mass of your ship. And yes, Dread, the fuel rats may disagree with me on the fuel limpets, and I have talked about the fuel rats before here on the stream. Yes, they will be the ones that they are obviously going to be engineering theirs, and ironically, most of them engineer it for lightweight for that increased jump range to be able to get to their ships faster. But yeah, they will be the ones that are focused on the fuel transfer limpets. So, oh, and hey, Em, welcome to the stream. And sorry, my cats are in the way of chat here. Truck had a comment. One more question: does flight have third-person view? Yes, you can. And I will say third-person view, not how you think of it like in No Man's Sky, though. You can fly in third person, but you're flying in the camera view, which means that you can't see things like your HUD and that sort of stuff. So it's not really a useful third person flight view. You're not doing anything in third person except taking pictures or screenshots, or maybe looking around your ship to see what's surrounding you, and that sort of stuff. You're not able to use it to do combat or that sort of stuff, because you don't have a HUD anymore. You can't see your ship stats and your aiming reticles and your energy pip, energy allotments, or any of that sort of stuff. It's there, it's just not useful for what you're probably thinking of third person view from No Man's Sky. It just doesn't work that way. So what I'm going to do here is, again, lightweight. I'm going to be running out of proto light really quick, but I've got enough. I'm going to upgrade him again. But what I might want to do is see here. He can also do Prospector limpets. Let's see if he has a... And I need to look and see, because I wasn't planning on... I'm not going to do this build until Saturday, I don't think. So let me pull it up and see. I think I need a 1A Prospector limpet controller. Yes, I do. Let's see if he sells it. He does. Okay. So I'm going to purchase this. I'm going to put it on my ship. It's going to store my surface scanner, but I'm going to buy it and equip it. And now I'm going to engineer this and use this to rank him up. Because I can put Miss Lightweight on this and use it to rank him up at the same time. And then I will put that detailed surface scanner back on, and off stream I will ship this engineered Prospector limpet controller back to my home base so I can put it on the ship I'm going to build on Saturday. I'm pretty sure I'm going to build it on Saturday. Okay, so again, we're using this to rank him up. But this also serves a purchase for a future ship. Am I building a Caspian? Great question. And I will answer that yes and no. I am going to be building a Caspian on this account if we get a new CG out in CG, by that for those of you who might be new to the game or haven't been on stream before, a new community goal out in Colonia again. I will build out and outfit a Caspian, and we will jump it out there on stream using the neutron boost, the neutron star boosting mechanic, so I can show you how that works. I will build that out, but that is not what we're going to do Saturday. I need to keep building up my Federation rank, and that's going to take me, I won't be able to get it done before Saturday, to explore the Federal Corvette. So we're going to spend Saturday doing an entirely different thing. At this point, we will have unlocked most of the engineers that we can until we rank up the Federation and the Imperial Navy, which is, just like I said, just going to take a while. So we're going to go into a new gameplay mechanic on Saturday, and I'm pretty sure, well, and I know that if we do that, I'm going to build out a ship specifically for that gameplay loop, and it's going to need this MISC lightweight 1A Prospector limpet controller. But that's not the blueprint I'm going to pin. Okay, again, if we browse through these, the grade 5 ones are one to pin. You don't want to pin anything that's not grade 5 unless you don't have a choice. I'm not going to be pinning cannons, fuel transfer, or prospecting or hash breaker. Collector limpet controllers, I'm going to need to be doing another one of these upgrades here for that particular ship. And as such, I'm going to pin the MISC lightweight blueprint for collector limpets, so I can do that remotely. Okay, now I'm going to go back to outfitting, go to optional internal, go down here to that limpet controller, and I'm going to replace it with the detailed surface scanner. And I'm going to store that other module. And like I say, off stream, I will transfer that back to my base in OU Geminorum so that we can use it on Saturday. And set my fire group. It should... Yeah, it's back where it was at 1. So, okay, so let's switch over to our other screen here real quick. And you can now see that, well, once this updates, but the Sarge is now finished. Decker is where we're going to next. We've reached friendly reputation with the Federation. We already talked about that. Needs an initial contract of 1 million credits worth of combat bonds. Okay, so let's go take a look at Briss. Now there's something special about Briss that I mentioned a little bit ago. First, let's redo our bookmarks for the beach here. Engineer, this is the Sarge. Okay, and we're looking for Colonel Briss Decker. Now, we're going to fold the plotter out. And look what system we are going to. Oh, and Gamer Gods Assemble, welcome to the stream. Sorry I was dealing with some other questions there. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for being here. I certainly appreciate it. And yeah, he did. He mentioned it. He had to step off. He's got an early shift tomorrow, but yes, when he gifted the memberships, he finally got one for himself. So, yes, he did. One last question. Is there continued development or is it in maintenance? There is absolutely continued development here. What I would recommend that you do, Truck, because I've already talked about this on stream before, is go to the Elite Dangerous website and look at the news tab on their website. They have a roadmap for this year of the new ships and vehicles that are being released and the new gameplay loops that are going to be released here later on this year. And you can kind of see everything that they're doing and planning throughout this year. But there is absolutely continued development, new ships, new vehicles, new gameplay loops, changes to existing gameplay loops to optimize them and make them better / easier, all that sort of stuff. The game was kind of stagnant as far as new development was concerned. It was still actively being developed, but not in the way of new features. It was more about new storylines. But it's seen a resurgence here in the past year plus, or basically the past year, where they have really put more effort into releasing new ships and new content in the game. So it is actively being developed right now and continuing on. So we are heading to the Sol system. For those of you who aren't familiar, Sol is the actual name of our sun, the star at the center of our solar system. That is the official name of it. And that's where we are going. No worries, Truck. Like I say, I'm here to help as much as I can. And if there's a question I know the answer to, I'll help answer it. So I hope that gave you enough to go on. And again, thanks for the questions and the comments. I appreciate it. So we are heading back to the birthplace of humanity here, and it's actually a pretty cool thing to see here. The first time, now we unlocked the Sol system. I mentioned that because when you rank up in the Federal Navy, you're going to unlock the Sol system. That's the only way to unlock it, is by ranking up in the Federal Navy. But if you're unlocking Brisk Decker, you've already ranked up enough through unlocking the Sarge to be able to have access to Sol. Okay, now we are in the Sol system right now. So let's take a look at our solar system. Okay, now our solar system, again, like I told you during the development of this game, there was an astrophysicist on staff at Frontier Developments. She actually, I remember when she left FDev, because her services were no longer needed, but she was there for several years during the development of this game. The mechanics of how stars work and how gravity on planets work and the size and different types of planets, orbit mechanics and all that sort of stuff are all based upon actual real world possibilities. And they took 30,000 star systems from the actual real life and modeled them into the game. So 30,000 different stars that are actually mapped out there that we know have planets around them. They put those same planets around them. They modeled the stars with the correct star class and size and all that sort of stuff, and they put them in the game. So they really made a very interesting effort to replicate our galaxy as we know it. With billions and billions of stars, there obviously has to be procedural generation for the vast majority of it, but 30,000 of it is actual real-world stuff. So our solar system here is based upon real world, and I'll put a caveat on that, as it was 10 years ago. Pluto has constantly been promoted and demoted and promoted and demoted as a planet in our solar system as the years have gone along, but it's still listed here. But there are other things out here that were actually continued to be updated after the fact. Charon actually is a moon of Pluto, or is a body in orbit with Pluto, is what I'll say. But other things that have been discovered over the years, they've actually added them into the game. So it's actually pretty cool to see how the Sol system has changed over time in the game based upon astronomical discoveries as we've gone on. So, but the planets are here, and you can go visit them, you can scan them, you can map them with surface scanners. The things that you're not going to see are like all of the moons of Jupiter. That list would be off the bottom of the screen. So they've kind of taken some liberties to cut out some of them. Same thing with Saturn, but the main ones, Io, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, are here. Same thing with Enceladus and Tethys and Dione and Rhea and Titan and Iapetus. All these are actual moons that we see in our solar system. So it's actually pretty cool to visit here. You can visit Earth. Now I will say that you see this blue marker. That means that you can land on the surface of that planet. Earth does not have that. You cannot land on the surface of the, well, I take that back. You can, well, I guess we'll talk about that. There's a caveat to some of this, but let's go visit Decker's Yard first, and then we'll level up the kernel, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of explore our home system a little bit here. Yeah, and you're right, Dredd. That's kind of why they've taken some liberties. When I was a kid, and when I was really into astronomy and had, my telescope and astronomy classes and all that sort of stuff, I think we had 16 moons of Jupiter at that time. Then when you get, obviously, things like the James Webb Telescope and all that sort of stuff that came out and really reinvented our knowledge of not just the galaxy but our home system as well, that number drastically went up as they found other things orbiting, and that number has just continued to go up. Some of those things are little more than glorified asteroids that are in decaying orbits. Well, they don't, I take this, not decaying orbits. They don't classify it as a moon if it's in a decaying orbit. But they're really just jumped up asteroids. But they're in stable orbits, so they call it a moon for what it is. But yeah, they had to take some liberties here because yeah, that list would be off the bottom of the page. So. So Decker's Yard here is a moon of Saturn. We're actually landing on Iapetus now. We obviously haven't done this as humans, and I might be going too fast here because I wasn't paying attention. We're on the front side of this. Let me see if I can slow down enough. Looks like I can. We obviously haven't done this as humans. We have had probes orbit Iapetus. I don't know if we've actually had a probe land on it or not. It's extraordinarily cold. So I don't know if we've actually had a probe land on the surface, but we've had probes take really close by readings of it as they've orbited and done flybys of it. Most of the stuff when you get out this far are just frozen lumps of rock. Once you get outside the main planet bodies, that we have gas giants out here and a lot of gas planets out this far. And that's very true, Dredd. We're able to, especially here in our solar system, we're able to predict whether or not it is a stable orbit or whether it's a decaying orbit really accurately with current instrumentation that we have. I'm talking and not paying attention here. But yeah, things can shift that. What is a stable, especially for some of these smaller moons, what is at some point a stable orbit can be vastly disrupted by a close flyby of an asteroid and things like that. And yeah, it can vastly disrupt some of those orbits. That's kind of things that have been happening right out the end of our solar system with Pluto and its eccentric orbit and all that sort of stuff. But you're correct. What once was stable could be unstable very soon after that. No, we haven't talked about it yet. We talked briefly, about the Federation rank up, but we haven't explored it yet. My goal, since it's taking longer to do it than I remembered, because Federation has been nerfed quite a bit. Well, not nerfed, but it's been made significantly longer than Imperial rank. It's going to take me a while to level it up. So my plan is that Saturday I will do another gameplay loop, build a ship for it, and then off stream I will rank myself up to just below the Rear Admiral rank I need to get the Corvette, and I will finish out that rank on stream next week and next Thursday, barring any community goals in Colonia that may come out. And that way I can fully explain how I got there and what I did without really showing a whole bunch of it on stream, because honestly you'd be bored stiff watching me do what I need to do to rank up the Federation stuff. So here for Colonel Decker, Decker is one of those that I find to be almost useless as far as the things that she can do. She can, with the exception of one thing, if you're a PvP person or you're interested in some of the more illegal versions of gameplay loops in the game from a PvP or PvE perspective, the frameshift drive interdictor is useful. Now I don't have one of those and I can't browse it here, but you can see only rank 3 for the FSD and rank 4 for the frameshift drive interdictor. I don't think, it's been a long time since I looked at this. I'm not sure if there is a grade 5 frameshift drive interdictor in the game. Yeah, there is. Mel Brandon does one out in Colonia. Let's go see if we have one here in the bubble. I'm assuming we do if we have one out in Colonia. Awake scanner. We don't. Unless it's here. Nope. Yeah, so that's why if you're going to do PvP, then make sure you have Mel Brandon as your frameshift drive interdictor blueprint pinned, because we don't have one, and I could have missed it. I just did a quick scan through this list. I may have missed it. But if that's the case, then make sure you pin it out there, because we don't have a grade 5 one here inside the bubble. And if you're doing PvP, you're going to have an FSD interdictor. That's just how PvP works if you're doing ship-based PvP. But for now, for me, Decker is fairly useless, but you can see on the screen here that I need 1 million in federal combat bonds. Okay, now how do we go about getting federal combat bonds? Okay, so if I look at the system factions that are here, every one of these, except for Aegis Core, every one of these has a Federation icon next to it. Okay. Now, what that means is that almost any mission that I would want to take here, or something like that, is going to be from the Federation. Now, I'm not going to have anything here at Decker's, but let's just head somewhere. And that's the Titan Cosijo. This is where I normally come and farm. There are no interceptors that I've found to spawn in this one, so you can farm this without having to worry about any Thargoids showing up. So this is where I normally come to do my Titan drive component farming and that sort of stuff. Let's go to Titan City. Should be right here. Now, we don't have to get a mission to start getting combat bonds.
Ship restraint disengaged. Commence departure.
But we're going to be getting combat bonds. You might as well look at a mission that may
Frameshift drive
get that as well.
4,
Because we're not going to do all of this on stream, I don't think, unless I get really lucky in the ships that I find. But let's head out here real quick. And we'll go look at the mission board. And it looks like we're on the far side. Saturn, so let's loop around. I've actually never seen that alert before in this game. Dispatching authorities in 1 minute. Oh, that's because I'm hostile in this system. I just looked down over there. So that might be what it is. They're going to dispatch authority vessels toward me here in a little bit. And there's a player behind me. Let's try not to get killed by the station.
Peterson, India Romeo uniform. Central Flight Control welcomes you. Please submit a docking request before entering the station. Request approved. Vector for approach to landing pad 38.
Overshot a little bit, but not too bad. There's 38.
landing gear deployed.
Touchdown. Ship secured.
That's a good question, Em. And I talked about this a little bit ago when I talked about the Alioth system invite. It's the same thing with Sirius. You need to be at a system that is close to Sirius, that is controlled by a faction that you have at least friendly relationship with, that is also the Sirius Corporation faction. So what I think I did is went to, and we can look here real quick. I think it's Alcor. No, it was Procyon, I believe, that I went to. Yeah, I think it was Davy Dock. Yeah, this is the Sirius Corporation. I went to Davy Dock here in Procyon. It's like 8 light years away from Sirius, so it's well within the range needed to be. And that's where I think I got it. So, yeah, if you're unlocking a system permit based upon reputation, then you need to be allied with the faction that is in charge of that system that's locked. You need to then go to a star system that's within, I don't think it's within 10. I think it's either 15 or 20 light years of that system, and go to a station that's controlled by that faction, and you will then find the system permit mission available to you. So let's look at the mission board here. And we can look at combat and kind of see what's available and see if there's anything that's like interesting. So there's the known pirate ones you probably want to avoid because you might be in one-on-one combat with them, and I'm definitely not in a situation where I could do that. But for instance, these kill Alpha Centauri Gold Brotherhood faction pirates, for instance, but that's with an independent faction. But like here, kill Lumen 16 Partnership faction pirates. So for this one, you need to kill 20 pirates of the Lumen 16 Partnership. They're going to be in the Lumen 16 system. And you can look for res sites, nav beacons, or signal sources to find your targets. So I need 1 million credits in combat bonds. So I can, if I'm going to do that, 20 ships sounds maybe about right. But you can get smaller ones like these, 3 of this one. These are threat level 5. So it's possible you might find some more difficult targets, but we're going to be relying on the system patrols to help kill them. We're just going to kind of ride their coattails on this, so to speak. But I'm kind of looking for something a little bit in between those two pirates. So it doesn't look like there's much in between the two. So this one is 20 pirates of the Lumen 16 Partnership. So if I go look, whoops, go look at that again. It's right here. Lumen 16 is here. We haven't been to it yet. So what I'm going to do is go to Inara here. And I'm going to search for, oops, Lumen 16. And what I want to make sure of is that it is Federation allegiance and it's not anarchy. I want to have a security level here so I can get the security system forces to spawn, is kind of what I'm getting at. This is Aileen Duval here, which may be a bit of an issue for me, but so I think I'm going to take this mission here. And again, I'm not taking this because I have to. I'm taking it because why not? And I'm going to go up here to Lumen 16. Now, on my ship, all I have is a couple of gimbal beam lasers, and that's it. Okay, so we're not outfitted as a combat ship, but we only need to get 1 million credits worth as well. We don't have to get hundreds of millions of credits here. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. And like I say, we're going to do that by just riding the coattails of the System Defense Forces. Until they decide they want to get angry with me because I'm pledged to a hostile power. But we'll see how long that lasts. These don't have to be Federation bonds, I don't think, even though it says that in the description when I landed at Briss's base. I think they can be any combat bonds, and if that's the case, I'd just go back to my home systems, Leon Reese base, and do combat back there until I got my 1 million bonds. Okay, so I'm going to hit the nav beacon here. Now it's probably given me a signal source. Okay. And then it said that it failed. I'd have to go looking for them myself. You don't have to actually go to the signal source that it popped up, and we'll see that here in a second once I get in here and scan this. I'm not really going to be interested in where it's trying to send me. Let's scan the nav beacon here. Might as well go into combat mode here. Change to my beam laser loadout. Okay, so there's probably a blue line in here. Yeah. So it's saying that somewhere around Lumen 16A2, I'll probably find my targets. And there's a mission target, Threat 3. Now, I probably don't want to go in there by myself. There might be system security craft in there. There might not be. That's the thing about it. So what I want to do is try and find a location where I'm guaranteed to have pirates, but also where I'm guaranteed to have security forces. And one of the best places to do that... Oh, and of course this system doesn't have any. Yeah, and that's right, Dread. That's what happens. That warning, though, are the power security vessels, I'm pretty sure, that are being dispatched to come after me. So those are the ones that I think I might have to worry about if I stay here. But this doesn't have, and I didn't look. I should have looked more into this. Let's go hit up that signal source and see if there are security vessels in it or not. If there are, then we'll stick around. If there are not, then we're going to jump out of it, and we'll probably head back to the nav beacon. Normally what you want to do is you want to look for resource extraction sites around planets that have gas giant planets that have rings. There you're going to guarantee to have pirates, and you're going to guarantee to have security ships. They spawn with regularity, and it's really easy to get in on combat that way. We don't have any of those planets here in this system, which before I took the mission I should have looked to see if we were going to have resource extraction sites here. So as such, it's going to take me a little longer to get these, but let's see what's in here first.
Mission objective detected.
Okay, so there's a single ship by itself below me. It's an Anaconda. Which is not great. I am seriously outclassed by an Anaconda and its escort. Yep. And he's looking for me. Yep, he's a mission target. But I can't take him one-on-one. Let alone two-on-one. So I'm going to get out of here. And we'll head somewhere that has security vessels. Now, I could wait around the starports or the stations, but I'm more likely to find them conflict zones you don't want to go into. That's not the right type of bonds. Convoy dispersal patterns, I'm not entirely sure would have system security vessels in them. I haven't been in a bunch of these system sources, or signal sources, in a long time, because these gameplay loops, like I say, once you do them a few times, you don't do them again in the main game. But I'll drop in here real quick. There's still 16 minutes left on this. And see if there's system vessels, security vessels in here or not. Otherwise, I'll have to head to the nav beacon. The nav beacon can have pirates in it. They just don't spawn very often. I think we saw that a bit ago in our playthrough. We were trying to get some bonds a while ago. They just don't spawn that reliably. And sometimes the system security vessels there won't even take an interest in them. So you really need to be somewhere that has a resource extraction site, and I just messed that up when I was looking. So, but this site, you can see the icon next to it. It has bounty hunting and piracy as things to do here. So let's pop in and see if there are any system security vessels or not. And I'm gonna readjust my pips here as well. Okay. I don't care about my engines nearly as much as I do my shields, which are systems, and my weapons. In PvE combat, you don't have to boost nearly as much as you do in PvP, so I'm not going to worry about adjusting my pips. I normally set them like this, and kind of let them go for the entire fight. If I'm in intense, like Haz-Res combat in a Corvette, then you'll see me adjust my pips quite a bit more, but for here, I'm not too worried about it. Let's see what's here. Okay, so we have some Federal Navy ships, which is good. So we've got some escort here. Couple of big honkers. An Anaconda and a Type 9 Heavy. Type 9 Heavy's not going to be doing anything. Let's see what this unknown ship is that's coming at us. We don't have to stay with them, but ultimately, oh, here's somebody. So here we go. Let's see what happens here with this group of ships that's come in here. Okay, so this is a group of 4. They're all bad guys, and actually one of them's coming after me. They're all coming after me. Okay. Well, we're gonna get out of here because we drew the aggro. And I'm not entirely sure that they're going to be... Okay, so maybe I can get in on this. Nope, Tomas is coming in. Yeah. So they aggroed me, only one of them. So some more help just jumped in. So let's see maybe if we can... Looks like they're still aggroed on me. No, we might have caught a break here. Yeah, we might have caught a break. Alright, so this guy is almost dead, and I didn't get my weapons deployed in time. Let's get in on this fight. Okay, 34,000. Federal Security Service, Federal Navy. Let's see if anybody else is going to... Whoa! Oh, he had a fighter. The Type 9 Heavy had a fighter. Nice.
Scan detected.
Okay, so let's see if they bring anybody else in here. And we could go pick up some materials. You can see on the upper right up there, we're a little short on compact composites. So we could go pick up some materials here. It's just normally not worth it. They're normally low-level ones. And it's not worth spending the time to go pick them up. So what I can do here is... I can reset this if I don't think anybody else is going to show up. Oh, thanks for being here, Em. I do appreciate it, as always. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. Always appreciated. So if I leave the signal source, it's going to disappear. But I don't think I'm going to get anybody else to spawn in here after that one group of 4 guys came in. I think that's the whole point of this. I could reset this by quitting the game, restarting it, coming back in, and this signal source will still be here right behind me, but I don't think it's worth it. We've only got 20 minutes left in the stream, so let's go to the nav beacon, and we'll see if anything's going to get sporty in the nav beacon. I'll look for anything. Yeah, I can see nav beacon. I have mercenary and piracy and bounty hunting. It's just it's somewhat rare that it happens in there. I'm looking for other, so convoy dispersal patterns. Here I could go look at. There's a threat 0. I'm not entirely sure what a threat 0 convoy dispersal pattern with enemies is going to be. It might just be wreckage. So let's head to the nav beacon here. And we'll see if anything happens here. It's a lot easier in the nav beacon if you have some sort of cargo that the pirates might want. That way when they scan you, they aggro on you, and then the security ships are gonna come to your rescue. Since I don't have any of that, it's gonna kind of just be hit or miss as to whether or not they actually get into a fight I can jump into. But yeah, you could see that once all 4 of those ships jumped in and started firing at me, my shields very quickly went down to around 50%. So we are not a combat ship. We're not designed for that. I'm not buying another combat ship just so I can do this. And then when I unlock the Corvette, have it just sit there and do nothing. I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to ship farm on this playthrough. So once you get a resource extraction site, not a hazardous one, go to one of the lower level ones, but once you get one of those, it's pretty easy to rack up 1 million credits in bonds without really thinking about it. We got 32,000 for killing a Sidewinder, the game's smallest ship. So getting 1 million is not that difficult at all. So if we look at our contacts, let's just start scanning people. And so he's wanted. So clean. What I'm looking for is the system defense forces. And the pirates. And when they get close to each other, a fight will break out most of the time, and I want to get in on it. So it looks like he's heading out. Two ships in wing formation here. A lot of times that will be security forces, or it could be somebody in their wingman for security, which is what this looks like. Yeah. Scanned them. And yeah, this is what I mean. It can be a little hit or miss as to whether or not these ships come in. Is this the... No, this is a Type 9. He won't be a pirate. So, yeah, this is kind of what I mean about the nav beacons. Kind of hit or miss. Takes longer for enemies to show up, and sometimes they don't even get into fights. So I kind of messed this up when I chose the mission for this system. It was not the best system that I wanted to, or that I should have done this in. Who is this? Hero Clipper. Okay, well, he's a bad guy. He's going after this guy. If there are any system security forces here, they would probably get into a fight here, but there are no system security vessels. He's probably going to start attacking this Mamba, and there's not going to be anything I can do about it. He's an expert level pilot, which means there's a good chance he's got an engineered ship. Yep, see, Aniki Miller's deployed hardpoints. Gonna start going after the Mamba. And unless that single ship behind me is a system security force, which is not. Looks like Aniki's going to come after me and scan me. I don't have any cargo.
Scan detected.
Ooh, this might be system security forces. Okay, so I'm going to pop my hard points out now. Yep, there's system security forces, the green dots. So let's wait for him to get into a fight here. And yep, they're going right for the there's system security vessel there. What is this? What's the Asp Explorer? Is not. Oh, he's wanted too. Alright, where's the system security vessel at? You need to get in here, man. Okay, let's go. Let's go get into a fight. what is he? He's a Viper Mark IV? Decent ship. It's going to be hard against the Clipper. Ooh, alright. Are you going to go after this guy? Oh, he's going after another faction member. I wasn't expecting pirate on pirate violence, but I'll help out with this. There's the system security vessel.
Frameshift charge detected.
He's charging his frameshift drive. We're not going to be able to kill him before he gets out. Yeah, you need to scan this guy here. Get into a fight with him. Okay, so here he comes. Let's scan this guy and start a fight. Because the Clipper ought to be worth a good amount of credits. There we go. Alright, so now let's see how well this fight progresses. The Viper Mark IV should be able to take him. But he is an expert. And he has quite a bit more hull. Yeah, looks like he's shooting missiles. So we're going to keep an eye on them respectively. Because the Viper Mark IV should be able to take him. And once we get his shields down, we'll see how well he starts knocking his hull down. And then we'll jump into the fight. Okay, now how well is he going to start knocking his hull down is going to be the question.
Target shields offline.
Okay, so his shields are down. Let's see how well he can start taking out his hull. Not very well. Oh, but he's got other people attacking him too. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump in. We'll jump into this when he gets down to about 40%, something like that. He's got a couple of bee stings on him right now. Shields are about to come back up.
Shields online.
But these two ought to be able to take him back down really quick. Yeah, they are.
Target shields offline.
Okay, so he's down to 70% hull. Alright, let's jump into this. We just want to keep doing regular damage, but not enough to drag aggro. Just enough to keep the damage going. When he dies here in a second. we go. Okay, see, that was 344,000 credits. So, you don't have to kill very many of these ships. And the Crate Mark II is probably an enemy. Nope, he's clean. Dang it. And we had a whole bunch of System Authority ships jump in, so now would be a great time for me to find another enemy. Vultures are always a good pirate ship, but clean. And that's kind of how you're going to get 1,000,000 combat pods. 1,000,000 in combat pods. You don't have to have a combat ship to do it, so don't waste your time buying a combat ship and outfitting it to come out here and do something like this. Just come out here with your regular ship and ride the coattails of the system defense forces. Ideally, you want to do this in a resource extraction site at a gas giant that has rings. You don't have to wait around for pirates and security vessels nearly as long. They're just always there. But since I messed that up, I'm going to hang around here for a little bit and see if I can get them to keep spawning. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do, since we're almost done with the stream, is I'm just going to retract my hard points,
Frameshift drive charging.
jump back into Super Cruise. Okay, make sure I'm not pointing at a planet. And we'll be good. And I think that gets us to a great place to end the stream for today. Like I said, Saturday, since I won't be finished with the Federation rank grind by then, we're going to get into a new gameplay loop. We're going to buy a new ship. We're going to outfit it and engineer it. And we're going to get into a new gameplay loop. And we're going to be doing most of that for Saturday's live stream. Then next week, I'll have plenty of time to finish my rank up through the Federation ranks. We will then come back on stream next Thursday, and we will buy, in my opinion, the best PvE combat ship in the game. And we will spend a boatload of credits. I will have no credits left. And I have 744 million right now. I will have no credits left after I'm done with this ship. It's an absolute beast, and I look forward to getting to use it in some combat as we go through some of the further gameplay loops in the game. So, as always, thank you all for being here. For those of you who are new to the stream, again, thank you very much for being here. Welcome. I hope you've learned a little bit about the game. If you have questions or anything like that, that's why I do these streams. I'm here to help. So leave them in the chat like we've seen here throughout the stream, or feel free to leave a comment on the video. This VOD will go live here in a little bit, and I'll be able to answer anything that you need. Because, as always, I enjoy the support of my community. I love interacting with my community. You've all been great, and I don't ever expect that to change. Because, as I always say, without y'all, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.